Everyone. In this video, we'll discuss about the new chapter of job sequencing. Okay, first we'll go through with the definition of the job sequencing. The sequencing is nothing but it is an order, or we can say that it is one of the optimization technique which can be mainly used so as to minimize the total processing time of the number of jobs which will be performed on the number of machines. Usually this will be occurring in the production shops or in the shop floors. Okay, as we know that a sequencing is very important whenever we are performing the number of activities, number of jobs to be performed, so as to complete one particular project. In such cases, a technological order is very important. In those cases, a sequencing is very important. It means in order we have to perform the number of activities so that the total production cost or the time can be reduced. For that we are saying as the job sequencing. A number of jobs to be performed in one sequence or in an order so as to minimize the total processing time of the particular project or the particular job. For such an technique, we are going to call as a sequencing. Next, there are some key terminologies to be used in the job sequencing. One is jobs. As we know that whenever there are number of activities to be performed, for such cases we are going to call as in jobs. And in this case, the number of jobs to be denoted with a small letter N. Machine means a machine usually a resource which will be used to perform some activities. For that the machineries are used. A processing time is nothing but whenever you want to perform any job, a time is very important. In this particular time itself, this particular job has to be loaded and its process has been completed. For that timing we are going to call as a processing time. There are different types of sequencing problems are there. The first one is n jobs one machine problem, n jobs on two machine problem, n jobs three machine problem, n jobs on m machines, and two jobs on m machines. All these types of machineries and all these types of sequencing problems we'll discuss in later. Now we'll look into the n jobs on two machines. N jobs one machine is nothing but a number of jobs to be performed only in the one machine. For example, if you take the drilling machine, a number of jobs are there. Okay, you are doing the drilling operation only with the help of the drilling machine. For that we are going to call as an n jobs one machine. Okay, now we'll look into the n jobs on two machines. In this type of sequencing, there are n jobs to be processed on two machines. Let us consider M1 and M2. The processing time estimates of the jobs on the machine are known. Okay, as we know that, as I told you, there are number of jobs are there. There may be 4 jobs or 5 jobs, but the machineries used are 2 machines. There may be a shaping machine or the drilling machine. Both the machineries are used. Let us say M1 and M2, and both the jobs are number of jobs to be performed on both the machines. Okay, for such cases, they are going to give you the processing time for each job on the each machine. And we are always knowing that for this, as there are number of jobs are there and there are two machineries are there, for such cases a sequencing is very important. And for that purpose we are doing the sequencing of the number of jobs on the number of machines, so as to minimize the total completion time of all the jobs, and from that we are going to reach the optimization. Next, okay, whenever we are performing a sequencing problems or we are solving the sequencing problem, there are some methodology or algorithm we are going to use. Okay, such an algorithm is going to call as an Johnson's algorithm or the Johnson's rule. Okay, in that the first step is select the least processing time in the list. If the least processing time is on M1 machine, then place that job from the left to right in the sequence. If the least processing time is on M2, place that job from right to left. It means whenever they'll give you the problem which will be having the number of jobs and two machineries are there, in such cases how to do the sequencing, for that the steps are given. First, out of the two jobs on two machines, or sorry, out of the number of jobs on the two machines, all the processing time to be given, and from that processing time, first we need to select the least processing time in the given table. Okay, whenever the least processing time is occurring on the M1 machine means just place that particular job from the left to right while sequencing. If the least processing time will occurring on the M2 machine, it means on the second machine, then place that particular job from the right to left. This we will look into the while solving the problem. Okay, next step is eliminate the jobs that are sequenced as a result of step 2. That is, for example, just think of you're having the 5 jobs. Out of the 5 jobs, the job 3 will be having the least value. In such cases, okay, in those cases the third job will be already eliminated for further sequencing, and only first, second, fourth and fifth to be considered for considering the next least value, and then the sequencing will be done, and then repeat the steps 1 and 2 until all the jobs are to be sequenced. Okay, this we will look into. The following figure will be showing how to do the sequencing. The M1 will be starts from, if the processing time occurs on the M1 machine, this will starts from left to right. The below figure will be showing how to do the sequencing, and if the processing time, the least processing time is occurring on the M2 machine, then it will do the sequencing. I mean we are doing the sequencing from right to the left. Then we will consider one simple example. Consider the processing time estimates of 5 jobs, each of which must go through 2 missions, M1 and M2, in the order of M1, M2. Obtain the sequence for the jobs that minimizes the total elapsed time, and also find the idle time of both the machines. Okay, there is one table is given. The job will be of J1, J2, J3, J4 and J5. Okay, these will be indicating the 5 jobs are there, and it is denoted with J1, J2, J3, J4 and J5. And as they told, there are 2 machines. As we are solving the problems of n jobs on 2 machine, there are number of jobs, that is 5 jobs, and 2 machines M1 and M2 are there. For each of the jobs on each of the machines, the timing will be given. That is, for the J1 job on the M1 machine, in order to process it, okay, in minutes they are given, 5 minutes is required, and for J2 on M1 machine 1 minute is required. In the same way, for the J1 on M2 machine 2 minutes is required. In order to process the particular jobs on the particular machines, they are given you the a time in terms of minutes, and asking you to find out the sequence so that it will minimizing the total elapsed time. Elapsed time is nothing but the completion time. Whenever you are performing a particular job, that will be called as a completion time for it, or a processing time we can say. Elapsed time is different from the processing time. Elapsed time is nothing but whenever the time will be taken in order to perform all the 5 jobs on all the machines, whatever be the number of machines they are given. If the 2 machines or 3 machine or m machines, the time taken will be called as in total time, that is called as the elapsed time. Okay, and also asking you to find out the idle time of both the machines. The idle time is nothing but in the elapsed time, for some particular minutes or for some particular hours, the either M1 machine or M2 machine will be not using. For such timings we are going to call as an idle time. Okay, first we'll look into the first step. Okay, the least processing time in the table is 1 minute for the job 2 on M1 machine. Just look into the table, whatever they are given. There are M2 machines are there, sorry, 2 machines are there, M1 and M2. Totally 5 jobs are there. Out of those, okay, just look into 5, 1, 9, 3, 10, all these are representing the processing time in terms of minutes. Okay, either you can consider, okay, just consider both the machines M1 and M2 on both the machines for all the job files. Okay, the timings will be given. Out of those timings, just find out the least value or the minimum processing time here. From this table we can see 1 will be the least value, that is 1 minute. That will be occurring for the J2 machine, and on which, sorry, for the J2 job, and it will be occurring on which machine, and it is on the M1 machine. Okay, now as the Johnson's rule is saying that if the processing time occurs on any of the jobs on the M1 machine, such a job will be placed while doing the sequencing from left to right. That is what we did in the second step. Okay, here job 2 will be indicating the J2. We have written as job 2 here. Okay, the second step will be saying that sequence the job 2 first, that is from left to the right. Okay, just make a table. Okay, just for sequencing, just do, in order to do the sequencing, we have written the J2. Instead of writing the J2, I have simply written as 2. It means that the job 2. Okay, once you did the sequencing, we have written the job 2 first while doing the sequence, only because for the J2 the processing time is least. Okay, and that will be of 1 minute, and it is also occurring on the M1 machine. If it occurs on the first machine, then while doing the sequencing, it will be written from left to right. Okay, if this occurs on the M2 machine, means that particular job to be written while doing the sequencing from right to left. Okay, the second step is now over. Now the next step is, after doing the first sequencing of the job 2, just eliminate that particular job 2 for the further sequencing, and then the reduced table is written. Okay, just you can see here, this is the reduced table. In this, J2 is not there because we already did the sequencing for the J2. Okay, J1, J3, J4, J5, for all those jobs the timings will be given on both the machines of M1 and M2. Okay, you can compare the first and the second table. In the first table all the 5 jobs are there and the processing time is also given, but in the second table, we already did the sequence of the second job, that's why it will be eliminated and the reduced table will be written here. Okay, next step, as this is the reduced table. Okay, from this once again, okay, this is the reduced table. In this, once again find out the least processing time. Either it may be occurs on the M1 machine or on the M2 machine. Okay, now you can look at here in the red mark, in the red ink, I have shown that the least processing time will be of the 2 minutes, and it will be corresponds to the job 1, that is for the J1, and it will be occurs on M2 machine. It is not now on the M1 machine, it will be occurring on the M2 machine. It means that whatever the job 1 is there, that will be sequenced from right to left, not from the left to right. Okay, because this is occurs on the M2 machine, second machine, that's why while doing the sequencing it will be written from right to left. Okay, in the reduced table, the least processing time is 2 minutes for the job 1 on M2, hence sequence it from right to left. I am telling you once again, whenever the least processing time occurs on any of the jobs on the M1 machine or on the first machine, then that job to be sequenced from left to right. If any of the processing time, the least processing time, if it occurs on M2 machine, it means on the second machine, then that particular job to be sequenced from right to left. Okay, the fourth step, that is what we have written. The J1 will be having the least processing time, that is of 2 minutes. That's why it will be occurring on the M2 machine. That's why we have did the sequencing of the J1 from right to left, and we have written the sequencing in the next step, that is 2 and 1. Okay, and after that, now eliminate the J1 and reduce the table for J3, J4 and J5 with the M1 and M2. Okay, now the reduced table after ignoring the sequenced job is, both the machineries are there, M1, M2, J3, J4, J5 is there. Now we have written the processing time as it is. For J3 9 and 7, J4 3 and 8, and for J5 it is 10 and 4. Okay, now once again find out the least processing time here. Out of 9, 7, 3, 8, 10 and 4, the least value is 3 minutes, and it occurs on the job 4, and which will be correspond to the M1 machine. Whenever it will be related to the M1 machine, that particular job to be sequenced from left to right. Okay, we already did the sequencing of the second job and the first job. Now it is the fourth job. Just write the job 4 as, just I have written 4 instead of writing the J4, J1, J3 and all. Okay, from left to right. After the second job, we are going to write the J4, that is 4. Okay, now once again, now eliminate the job 4 and once again write the reduced table. Okay, this is the reduced table now. After sequencing the job 4, J3 and J5 is only left. Now once again find out the least processing time here, that is 4 minutes, which will be corresponds to the J5, which will be occurs on M2 machine. That's why just sequence that particular J5 on from while doing the sequencing from right to left. That's why it is written 5, okay, before the 1, okay, before the job 1 it will be written. That is why we have said that, hence the process J5 will be written before J1. Okay, that is from right to left, and in the middle there is only one column is left over, and that column will be written with the next last finally left over job, that is J3. Now the sequencing is 2, 4, 3, 5 and 1. If you go on performing or processing the job, whatever the process are you are going to perform, okay, in this order they are saying that with the Johnson's rule we have reduced it to the particular sequence. With this sequence or with this order, if you go on performing the particular work, then the total work time will be minimized, and with that the optimization can be reached. Okay, now this is finished. Until this we have know that how to do the sequencing. Once you did the sequencing, in this sequence itself all the jobs to be loaded into the both machines M1 and M2, and it will be processed. Okay, we'll look into the finding of the total elapsed time and the idle time. Okay, in the question they asked you to find out the total elapsed time. It is nothing but the total completion of all the jobs on all the machines. Now in this case 5 jobs are there, 2 machines are there. For all the 5 jobs to be processed on both the machines, and what is the time required, that to be calculated. Okay, now in this case just once again prepare the table. In the first column first write down jobs, and in the next processing time. Okay, next machine 1, machine 2, in and out, in and out. Okay, I'll tell you why to write in and out, in and out. Okay, now in the jobs no need to take the jobs in the order of 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, now we already find it out the sequencing, that is in the order of, what is the order we have find it out, 2 4 3 5 1. In this order only we have to do this actual processing of all the jobs. That is why in the first column I have taken the sequencing as 2 means J2, 4 means J4. Instead of writing J2, J4, I have written simply 2, 1, 3, 4 like that. Okay, while doing the sequencing. Now the job is J2, J4, J3, J5, J1. Okay, according to the Johnson's rule, the sequencing is done, and with that sequence only we are going to solve the further problem. Okay, after that the processing time on the M1 machine and M2 machine, this is as it is whatever they are given you in the first table. Okay, for J2 on the M1 machine and on the M2 machine, what is the time taken, that is already given in the, okay, just look into the table whichever given in the problem. In this for the J2, as this is the first job, okay, the processing time on the M1 machine is 1 minute, on the M2 machine is 6 minutes, and after that the next sequencing is 4. For that, for the fourth job, the timings on the M1 machine is 3 and on the M2 machine is 8. In the same way, for all the jobs, we have directly written the processing time here. That is, for J2, 1 minute on M1, 6 minute on M2. And for J4, 3 minute on M1, 8 minutes on M2. And similarly for J3 job, on M1 machine 9 minutes is required and on the M2 machine 7 minutes is required. Similarly we have written for J5 and J1. Now, after writing the processing time, in the third column, first write down M1 machine, okay, the machine 1. For that, just write it in and out. Okay, this will tell you when the particular job will be loaded, what is the time, and after completing that particular job on the particular machine, what is the outcoming time. Okay, that is tell you the out time. In time is nothing, whenever it will be loading that time, unloading that time will be the out time. Okay, in this for the machine 1, in time is 0 because the J2 itself be the first job and it is processed on the M1 machine itself. Okay, and it will be going into the, or it will be loaded into the machine 1 at the 0th time. There is no time before that, that's why it will be considered always as the 0. And after that, the out time is nothing but in order to perform a J2 job on the M1 machine, what is the processing time required? Just look into the second column, the processing time in that M1. Just look into the M1. For that, the J2, what is the time required? 1 minute. Okay, that is in time is 0, and whenever you are loading within the 1 minute itself all the processing to be done, and then it will be unloaded from the machine 1. That's why the out time is 1, that is 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay, next come to the fourth job. The out time of the previous job will becomes the in time for the next job. It means once you load the first job, after doing the whatever the work, then only the other job will be loaded into the M1 machine. Okay, now first you are going to load the J2 job, then after finishing the particular work only the J4 will be loaded. That's why the out time for the J2 will becomes the in time for J4, or the previous job out time will be the in time for the next job. Now the J4 in time is 1 minute and the out time is, just look into the processing time. What is the processing time for the J4 on the M1 machine? 3 minutes. Therefore already 1 minute is finished. Okay, therefore just add the processing time for that. 1 plus 3 is 4, that is the out time for the J4. After the completion of J4 only J3 will be loaded, and for this the previous out value will be the in time. Therefore 4 will be the in time value for the J3, and the out time is 4 plus the processing time is 9. 4 plus 9 is 13. After unloading of J3, J5 will be loaded. For the J5 in time is 13 plus the processing time for the J5 on M1 is 10. 10 plus 13 is 23. Next job 1, that is J1, in time is 23 and the processing time is 5, therefore 23 plus 5 is 28. Okay, now all the jobs to be processed on the M1 machine first. Okay, after completion of the M1 machine itself, the jobs will be going to the M2 machine. Always the jobs will be moving or processed in the forward direction, not in the backward direction. Once if you load the job 1 on the machine 1, then only it can move to the machine 2, and furtherly it can't come back to the machine 1. The backward direction, in the backward direction the processing can't be take place. Okay, next come to the machine 2. Just write down in and out for same as it is for the M1 machine. In this case just concentrate here. The in time is 1 minute. I have written 1 minute only because the J2, the same job will be performed on the machine 1 and same will be performed to the next to the machine 2. It means the job J2 first it will be processed on the M1 machine. Okay, after completing the particular job only it will move to the, or it will be loaded to the machine 2. Okay, until the job 2 will be processed in the M1 machine, the J2 machines, or we can say that the machine 2 will be idle, or it will be not in the working position. I mean it will be not under the working. Okay, it is not going to work any of the job, it will be idle. We are saying as idle. Okay, that's why the in time for that is 1 minute. Okay, that is whatever the out time of the J2 on the M1 machine is there, that itself becomes the in time for the M2 machine for the J2 job. Okay, now For calculating the out time for the M2 machine, for the job 2, just look into the processing time on the M2 machine in the second column. Just look into the M2 column. The processing time of J2 on M2 machine is 6 minutes. Therefore, in time is 1 minute. The processing time is 6. 1 plus 6 is 7 minutes. It means the job 2 will be processed on the M1 machine. The starting time is 0. Okay, in order to perform it on the particular machine, the time required is 1. Therefore, the out time is 1 minute. Okay, after the 1 minutes itself, it is going to unload it from the machine 1. Then only it is going to load it to the machine 2. That's why for the machine 2, the in time is 1 minute. And for that, the processing time of M2 for in order to perform the J2 job is 6 minutes. That's why 6 plus 1 is 7. The total outcome time is for the J2 job is 7 minutes. Next, similarly come to the J4 job. The in time for the M2 machine for the job 4 is 7 minutes I have written. As I told you, the out time of the previous job will becomes the in time for the next job. For the J2 job, the out time is 7 minutes. That's why for the J4 it is becomes as in time, that is 7 minutes. Okay, it means after unloading of the J2 itself, we can load the J4. Until that, okay, you can't load the J4 job. After the 7 minutes only you can load the J4 job. That's why that out time will becomes the in time. Okay, that is 7 minutes. And the processing time of job 4 on the machine 2 is 8. 7 plus 8 is 15. Next, the job is J3. For the J3, the in time is 15, the previous out value. 15 plus the processing time on M2 is 7. 15 plus 7 is 22. Next, just look into the table, okay, carefully. Now the next job is J5. Now the in time for this is, I have written instead of 22, I have written 23. See here, this is 23 only because, just see here, the J5 will be processed on the machine 1 first up to the what time? Just look into the M1 machine in and out time. It will be loaded at the 13 minutes, and after completion of that particular job 5 on the machine 1, what is the out time here? 23 minutes is required. But if you look into the M2 machine, the previously which job is performed? J3 job. Okay, J3 will be performed or processed on the machine 2 up to the 22 hours or 22 minutes itself. But after 22 only you can you can load any of the other jobs. But the thing is, the next after the J3 job, the next job to be loading is J5 job. But the J5 will be under working or will be under process on the machine 1 up to what timings? 23 minutes. So you can't load the job 5 on machine 2 before 23 minutes. Okay, that's why we have written the in time as 23 minutes. Otherwise, you can remember the simple concept that just you can look into the out time of the machine 1 and out time of the machine 2, that is the previous job for the machine 2. Whichever is maximum value, that to be written as the in time for the machine 2. Okay, out of 23 and 22, whichever is maximum, 23, that can becomes the in time. Okay, and 20, now the out time can be found as 23 plus the processing time of J5 on the M2 machine is 4 minutes. 23 plus 4 is 27. Next, after that, once again the next job to be processed is J1, and for this also we have written instead of 27, 28, only because J1 will be processed on the M1 machine up to the 28 minutes, but already J5 will be finished on the M2 machine at the 27 minutes itself. But even though it will be finished 1 minute earlier, you can't load the J1 because it will be in working process on the M1 machine. After completion of that particular process on the M1 machine only, you can load it to the M2 machine. Until that one minute, whatever the gap is there, until that the M2 machine will be in the idle. It will not be working for that one minute. That's why the in time is 28 minute, and then find out the out time as 28 plus processing time is 2 minutes, that is 28 plus 2 is 30. Okay, this is the, after doing the sequencing you are going to find out the total completion time. Okay, we can say that now by looking at this table we can say that the total elapsed time or the completion time is whatever the last value you are going to get in the table. Okay, that is for the M2 machine you got the 30 minutes, that itself be the completion time for this particular number of jobs and for the number of machines. The total elapsed or the completion time is 30 minutes. And in the question they also asked you to calculate the idle time on both the machines. Idle time can be found as, for the machine 1 there is a formula is there, elapsed time minus the processing time of M1 machine. Here the elapsed time is how much? 30 minutes minus the processing time, the sum of processing time of the M1 machine. Okay, if you consider the second column in this, for all the jobs on the machine 1, the processing time to be given. If you sum of these processing times, you will get the 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 10 plus 5. You are going to get the sum as 28. Then here 30 minus the processing time of the machine 1 is 28, that is 2 minutes. It means the M1 machine will be idle out of overall completion time only the 2 minutes. Okay, only for 2 minutes it will be not under working. It is considered as the idle time. And for the M2 machine it is same as it is, elapsed time is 30 minutes minus the processing time can be calculated as, just look into the processing time here. In this M2, that is the sum will be of 6 plus 8 plus 7 plus 4 plus 2, you are going to get 27. Therefore 30 minus 27 is 3 minutes. Okay, in this way we first find out the sequencing, and after doing the sequencing, in that sequence only find out the in and out time for both the machines. Okay, whatever the final value you are going to get, that is nothing but the total completion of all the 5 jobs on all the machines. It means on both the machines 30 minutes is required, and totally the idle time on the machine 1 is 2 minutes and idle time on the machine 2 is 3 minutes. It means they are idle for 2 minutes and the machine 2 will be idle for 3 minutes. Okay, next we'll look into the another, there are some concepts are there, that is tie breaking. It means sometimes the least processing time may be same on the machine 1 or on the machine 2. In such cases tie can be resolved as explained here. Okay, just consider the case 1, when there is a tie of least processing time on the machine 1. Just consider this example, the jobs are given J1 J2 and M1 and M2 is given, that is M2 not M1, M1 and M2. Okay, the processing time for the job 1 on the machine 1 is 10 and for the job 2 on machine 1 is also 10, and for M2 it is on the job 1 it is 20 and on the job 2 it is 30 minutes or 30 hours, whatever the unit they are given. Okay, in such cases just look at here, the least processing time if you consider, it will be occurring on both the jobs. Okay, that is 10 minutes and 10 minutes. In this particular table the least processing time is 10 minutes, but it is corresponds to both the jobs J1 and J2, but the thing is it will be occurring on the same machine. In such cases what we need to do is, while doing the sequencing there is a confusion that either to consider the J1 first or the J2 first while doing the sequencing. So in such cases you just consider the processing time of the opposite machine. Here the opposite machine is M2, which is the opposite machine M2 machine. Okay, if you consider for the J1 the opposite machine value the is 20 minutes, and for the J2 the opposite, I mean the M2 machine, on the M2 machine the processing time is 30. Which is the maximum value? The 30 minutes will be the maximum processing time on the opposite machine, that is on the M2 machine. In such cases J2 will be considered as the first job which is to be sequenced, and then only we can go for the J1. This will occurs only when the processing time occurs on both the jobs or more than one jobs, but it will occurs on only one machine, corresponds to one machine. Okay, that's why we are written the least processing time is 10 minutes and there is a tie. To resolve it, sequence the job having more processing time on the machine 2 first from left to right as it is on the M1. As I told you, this will be occurring on the M1 machine, that is the processing time is same, will be occurring on both the jobs on the M1 machine. That's why we are always considering if the processing time occurs on the M1 machine, while doing the sequencing, the job to be sequenced from left to right. That's why we are doing the sequencing from left to right itself. But the thing is either to consider the J1 or J2, but as we know that the processing time of opposite machine, here the opposite machine is M2. Okay, whichever will be having the maximum processing time, that particular job will be considered. In this case, J1 will be having 20 minutes on the second machine and J2 will be having the 30 minutes on the second machine. Out of 20 and 30 is maximum, and this will be corresponds to the J2. That's why J2 will be sequenced first and then J1. That's why the sequencing here we have written in red ink, we have shown in red color, we have shown J2 first and then J1. That is the first case. And next case is when there is a tie of at least least processing time on the machine 2. Here also same. Okay, there are two jobs are given, two machineries are there, the processing time is given, but the thing is the processing time will be same for both the jobs, but it will be not occurring on the M1, but it is on the M2 machine. In such cases, okay, we are already knowing that whenever the least processing time occurs on the M2 machine or on the second machine, the sequencing will be done from right to left. Okay, the same procedure will be followed here, but what you need to do is the processing time, while considering the either to J2 or J1, just look into the processing time of the opposite machine. Now the same processing time will be occurring on the M2 machine, right? The opposite machine is M1. Okay, for the J1, the processing time on the opposite machine is 15 minutes, and for J2 the processing time on the opposite machine is 20. Out of 15 and 20 is maximum. That's why J2 will be considered first while doing the sequencing and J1 will be written later. Okay, that is why we have did the sequencing as J1, J2. J2 is considered first because we are doing the sequencing from right to left. That's why it is J1 and J2. J2 is written first and then J1 because it is occurring on the M2 machine. Whenever the least value will occurs on the M2 machine, the sequencing will be done from right to left, not from the left to right. Okay, the last case is when there is a tie of least processing time on both the machines. Okay, the job is given J1, J2, M1 and M2 is there. The processing time is given as 3983. In this, out of this, the minimum value is, which is the minimum value or the least processing time here, 3 minutes and 3 minutes. Okay, that is J1 will be having the 3 minutes as the least processing time, which is on the M1 machine. And if you consider the another 3 minutes which will be occurring on the J2 machine, which will corresponds to M2 machine. Okay, in such cases, in the previous cases, we came to know that the same processing time will be occurring on the same machineries, but the jobs will be different. But in this case, there is a same processing time is there. It will be occurring on the both job also, but the thing is, it will be corresponds to the different machines, not to the same machine. In such cases, either to consider the J1 or the J2 first, the thing is, you just look into the see here, the least processing time is 3 units for the job 1 on machine 1 and for the job 2 on machine 2. In order to resolve it, sequence the job least processing time on M1 from left to right, and the job of least processing time on M2 from right to left. So as we know that whenever the M1, I mean the processing time occurs on the M1 machine, that particular job to be sequenced from left to right. That's why J1 will be sequenced from left to right, and as M2 machine will be having the least processing time, then that particular job to be sequenced from right to left. That's why here the processing time of 3 minutes will be occurring or corresponds to the J2 will be occurring on the M2 machine. That's why J2 will be sequenced from right to left. That's why it is J1 and J2. Okay, this type of problem we are going to see in the next slide. Okay, just take one example. In a factory, there are 6 jobs to perform, each of which should go through 2 machines, say A and B, in the order AB. The processing time estimates in minutes for the jobs are given below. Obtain the sequence for performing the jobs that would minimize the total elapsed time, it means the completion time, and also find the idle time of both the machines. Okay, they have given you the 2 machines here, that is n jobs on 2 machines. We are solving the problem of n jobs 2 machines. The number of jobs here given as J1, J2, J3, J4, J5 and 6. Therefore it is, there are 6 jobs are there, 2 machineries are there, all the 6 jobs to be processed on both the machines, machine A and machine B, and the processing time of each job on both the machines is also given. Okay, we'll solve the problem now. The first step is the least processing time in the particular table is, we are knowing 1 minute, that is corresponds to the J1, and it will be occurring on which machine? Machine A. Here the machine A is considered as the first machine and machine B is considered as second machine. Only because, just look into the question here, they have said that in the second line, the machine A and B in the order AB itself. Okay, all the each of which, I mean the each of the jobs should go through with the 2 machineries A and B in the order of AB. It means the A is the first machine, B is the second machine. If they have set the order as BA, then B will becomes the first machine and A will becomes the second machine. Whatever the order they have said, in that order itself you need to do the sequencing and all the jobs to be processed and the final completion time to be finded out. Now the least processing time in the particular table is 1 minute, that is corresponds to J1, and on the machine 1 or on the machine A. That's why as it is occurring on the machine 1, that particular job to be written while doing the sequencing from left to right, that's why it is written J1 from left to right. Now eliminate that particular job and rewrite the table once again. Okay, that is J2, J3, J4, J5 and J6, all the processing time to be written as it is. Okay, then the next you can see here, the least processing time will be of the, in this particular table, the least processing time is occurring on the J4 and also on the J5, that is of 2 minutes. Therefore as it is occurs on the machine 2, that is on the machine B. Okay, now the procedure is, just look into the opposite machinery's processing time. If you look into the J4, the opposite machine processing time is 5 minutes, and for the J5 the opposite machining, I mean the processing time is 6 minutes. Out of 5 and 6, the maximum value is, that is nothing but the 6 minutes. That why J5 will be written from right to left because it occurs on the machine B, and then only J4 will be written. Now eliminate the J4 and J5, the only left with J2, J3 and J6. Okay, now as J2, J3 and J6 is left out, the least processing time is 3 minutes, but it will be occurring on all the jobs. But first you can consider the machine B, that is the, for the J3 it will be occurring. Therefore as it occurs on the second machine, you can write it from right to left, J3. Already we have written J5 J4 and then J3 from right to left, and from the left to right we already did the sequencing of J1, only left is now J2 and J6. Okay, out of this you can see here the J2 and J6 will be having the same processing time of 3 hours, I mean the 3 minutes. The now consider the opposite machinery processing time. The J2 will be having the opposite processing time as 6 minutes, and the J6 will be having the 10 minutes. Out of those, J6 will be having the maximum processing time. Therefore, after J1, J6 to be considered, then J2. Okay, the final sequencing is J1, J6, J2, J3, J4 and J5. Okay, this is the sequencing J1, J6, J2, J3, J4 and J5. In this sequence itself, you have to perform all the jobs process on all the machines A and B. Then only you have to find out the total completion time here. Okay, according to this, in the second table, I mean in the second column, the processing time for the J1 on machine 1 and J1 on the machine B, J6 the processing time on the machine A and machine B will have taken from this particular table. Okay, whatever the J1 will be having on the machine A is 1 minute and on the machine B 5 minute. In the same way, for all the jobs we have taken the processing time here. That is what written in the second column. Then just write down in the third column machine A and machine B. The order is AB itself. If it is B and A order, then machine B will be written first and then the machine A second. Okay, next in out. First consider the machine A. The in time is always 0 because this is the first job, and just had the processing time of J1 on the machine 1, that is 0 plus 1 is 1, that is the out time. Then out time will becomes the in time for the J6, that is 1 minute. 1 minute plus the processing time is 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. Next for the J2 in time is the previous value out time, that is 4. 4 plus the processing time is 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. Next for the J3, 7 is the in time plus the processing time is 8. 7 plus 8 is 15. And for the J4 it is 15 plus the processing time is 5, that is 20. Next 20 plus the processing time is 6. 20 plus 6 is 26. Next come to the machine B. Okay, after completion of the J1 on the machine A, then only it will be loaded to the machine B. That is the in time is 1 minute because the J1 will be processed up to the 1 minute on the machine A. Until that the machine B will be idle. Okay, after the 1 minute itself it will be loaded. That's why the in time is after 1 minute. That's why it is written in time is 1 minute. Then the processing time on the machine B is 1 plus 5, that is in the second column the processing times are given, we have written which is given in the problem, that is 1 plus 5 is 6. Next the out time of the J1 will becomes the in time for J6. The in time is 6 plus the processing time for the J6 on machine B is 10 minutes. 6 plus 10 is 16. And for the next next job J2, the in time is 16 plus the processing time is 6. 16 plus 6 is 22. And for the J3 job, the in time is 22 plus the processing time is 3. 22 plus 3 is 25. And for the J4, 25 plus the 2, that is 27. Next for the final job, 27 will be the in time plus processing time is 2, that is 29. Okay, from this you can say that in order to complete all the 6 jobs on machine A and machine B, the total time required is 29 minutes. And then in order to find out the idle time on the machine A and machine B, the total elapsed time minus the processing time. Just you can find out the processing time of the machine A, that is the sum of all the processing times on all the jobs, that is 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 8 plus 5 plus 6, that is 26. That is 29 minus 26 is 3 minutes. The particular machine will be idle for only 3 minutes. And if you come to the machine B, that is the total elapsed time is 29 minutes minus the processing time of the machine B is 5 plus 10 plus 6 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2, that is 28. That's why it is 29 minus 28, which is equal to 1 minute. It means the machine A is idle for 3 minutes, but the machine B is idle for only 1.